So I realize it's been quite a while since my last video, probably about I think 3 weeks, maybe a month now. I've mostly just been taking a break from videos, from DakTek, all that, getting refreshed. You know, I've been working on the whole thing for 6 months, well actually 7 months. And you know, it's pretty draining after a while. So you gotta take a break every once in a while, especially if you've been, you know, doing that whole coding 2 days straight, then maybe sleeping 1 day every other day. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna make a tutorial on armoring and different weapon types that go well together. I'm gonna keep this one pretty short. It really isn't too much to cover, but okay, let's get into this. Alright, on mechs, this is a 50-ton mech. In general, armor just scales up as weight also goes up, so you know, a 100-ton mech would have double the armor weight of a 50-tonner, so just remember that if you're building a mech. Anyway, on this mech, it's a 50-ton mech. The center torso armor is 270, the arms are 100 each, and the legs are also 125. Sides are a little less than 50, and the rear is, well, the rear is 30. I accidentally hit the roof, which is part of the center torso also, right there. Okay, but the reason behind these armor values is because, for the most part, you're generally going to be being hit in the center torso most often, so you'd like to keep that the most well armored. It also protects the important pieces inside, such as the ammunition crates and the engine, which can be destroyed pretty easily once the armor is gone. So you're going to want to keep the center torso armor at maximum, and you're going to want to also protect that from being destroyed at all costs. And also probably some weapons in the center torso wouldn't be all too bad either, just so that you have something if your arms fall off. Alright, so the second important thing are the legs. If you lose both of your legs, you're pretty much just a little turret on the ground that can't do much, and the enemy's probably just going to kick you in the face and laugh or something like that. Also, losing a leg also reduces your speed quite heavily, so you're going to want the legs combined to be about the weight of the center torso, so each leg would be about half of what the center torso's weight is. Generally, people won't shoot you in the legs as often because, you know, it's not the same as just getting a kill, and there's less explosions and all that, but some people might just shoot you in the leg just to, you know, be a jerk. Alright. And then once we get to the arms, you're going to want to put pretty good armor on the arms, at least the ones that are holding weaponry, but you really shouldn't go above the health of whatever weapon you have in the arm as the weight of the arm. For example, if I only had a single medium laser in the arm, a medium laser only has 10 health. It's completely pointless to keep the arm at 100 health unless I'm using it as a shield arm, since people can just shoot that one laser instead of the whole arm. Unless, of course, you armor up the whole gun, but, you know, doing that for medium laser is kind of weird. Alright, if you're looking to, you know, shield with an arm, they're pretty good, especially if you have it move with the aiming, because that'll shield your center torso pretty well, too. In this mech, I keep it at 100 health, such as, well, the same as the main arm right there, just so that it can take a bunch of hits, and so that it protects my mech. Usually this is the first piece to go because I direct all the damage into it. Also note that up here is also armor, so it protects even the center torso, even with its fin up top. Alright, on the sides, usually they're pretty weak, just because the arms are protecting your side pretty heavily. Nobody's really going to shoot those except for a few little grazing hits from some lasers if somebody hits you while you're twisting. So you usually don't need that much health on them. If you have ammo behind them such as this, it might be a good idea to put some armor on there just in case, you know, those glancing hits get lucky. Also, on the rear, generally it's going to be pretty light. You don't get flanked all too often, especially for torso that can twist and all that. So you're going to want your armor on the front where it can be, where you'll be actually able to shoot the enemy while you have that armor towards them. Usually the back is just there so that explosions behind you and, you know, seeking weapons that just manage to hit you in the back don't instantly kill you. Of course, it can be somewhat dangerous to run really low armor, especially if you have ammunition in the back, because you never know when somebody's going to get a lucky hit in. Alright, that's really it for the armoring. Oh yeah, I should probably mention that certain pieces that are questionable, such as the bottom piece here, that would go into the front. If it's any piece that's on the bottom of the mech or on the top of the mech, just count it as frontal armor. Don't put it into a side or, you know, its own hitbox or anything like that. That's just kind of pointless. Also, the hip itself is considered the same armor as the torso. Don't just go and split the torso and hip. That isn't really how it works. So the side of the hip would be counted as the side torso of the mech. Same with the rear and the rear of the hip. Also, the base plates, those don't go into any hitbox. They just go and get pulled by the structure of the mech, since if you were to lose one of the structure base plates, your mech would cease to function, so you wouldn't want to put that into a hitbox that you could have survived without otherwise. And that is actually the last part of this. I should just mention though that, as I've said before, keep hardpoints in the section that they are part of. For example, this hardpoint here is going through the center armor right there, so it's part of the front center torso armor. If I had a piece that was, you know, sticking out of the side for whatever reason, it would be part of the side torso armor, but that's going to be pretty rare, so I really don't expect anybody to have a problem with that one. Okay, so now for the weapon types. As you can see, I've set up 2 mechs over there to go over some extra ones, but for now we're going to be talking about the Centurion. It's a brawler build right here. It just puts out pretty good DPS at close range, especially for a medium mech. Its main weaponry here is the LBX, backed up by 2 SRMs. It works pretty good at close range due to the spread of the weapons, making it not too great at long range, but the weapons are very good at DPS and pretty heat neutral up close. Well, not heat neutral, but they don't generate too much heat, at least too much for this mech to handle. And also they fire their shots instantly, which pairs up very nicely with the gigantic shield arm, so that I can fire then twist away. And as you've seen in some of the battles, well, if you've seen the Centurion versus Centurion fight, it works out quite well. So that the main point of that part is that you're going to want to put weapons that work well together with each other, such as the 2 spreading weapons. That works out pretty well if you're going for a more specialized build. Alright, next up is if you're running a mech that doesn't have much cooling, but you still need to get some pretty good damage per second in, a Gauss rifle is a pretty good option to look at. If you're not just, you know, heatsink boating, that's another option, I guess. But if you're using a mech that you wouldn't want to boat heatsinks in, a Gauss rifle is pretty good when paired with heavy-medium lasers. The heavy-medium lasers put out 11 damage for 9 heat, but they only weigh 1 ton. They do generate massive amounts of heat if fired in bursts, but due to the Gauss rifle's pretty high pretty high damage to heat ratios in very low amount of heat per second, it's a very good pair to make. Even this 45-ton mech can take on much bigger mechs due to its builds, as you may have seen in the Crimson Guard versus Shadowcat fight. And lastly, if you're going for a mixed build, it's pretty good to have weapons that can work for various things that you'll come across, and also pretty strong armor to back it up. With this mech, it has an LBX-10, an ER-PPC clan version, and a clan LM-15. This provides it the ability to fire on targets that are hard to hit, that are going too fast, or if there's a target behind cover and they're armed or something like that, it's a pretty good weapon to hit them with. And it also comes with the ER-PPC, which is pretty good for dealing direct damage at targets that are further away than the LBX would handle. And the LBX up close provides very high damage for its weight and pretty good ammo efficiency. So generally it's a good build in general that works at a variety of ranges and will never leave you without options. And that's just the general build types. You have generalists, more snipers, and brawlers. Well, there's also mid-range, but that just fits right in between, so it's sort of a generalist. But yeah, that's basically it. If you could just leave some comments and stuff on some different videos you'd like to go over, then maybe I could make some more tutorials on that. Until then, I guess I'll just come up with some stuff. But yeah, just leave some comments there. See you next time. Bye.